Hello there, I'm Diane Kubal, founder of Fulcrum Network, and I have joining me today Dr. Susan Cain of the Corporate Learning Institute and creator of the DISC Professional Styles Assessment. And as you know, we're launching into a series of how to use DISC to train managers in a number of different contexts. And before we launch into the series, we'd like to just give you a brief overview of the DISC model. So, Dr. Kane, what is the DISC assessment and why are so many people using it to train managers?
Well, first of all, the DISC assessment is a short and sweet, useful tool. It doesn't go particularly deep when we talk about different, as it relates to different assessments. It can be immediately applied, and that's why so many people are using it, Diane. Let's take a look at kind of parsing out what the DISC has to offer. The DISC was created by William Moulton Marston, who was a Harvard professor back in the 40s, 30s, 20s. He was way long time ago, professor. And he also created the Wonder Woman comic series, which is of note. The DISC assessment that is based on the DISC model is an assessment that measures preferences as opposed to intelligence or potential. And so it can be a good thumbnail sketch for managers to have so they understand different people's preferences and the variety of preferences that are really out there. It's a very good way to categorize those. It's a limited tool. It doesn't measure intelligence or ability, as I mentioned. It doesn't talk about maturity, but it does give you a snapshot in time of an individual and how they prefer to approach a task, which is really useful for leaders to know. So let's take a look at the model and let's break down what we're talking about here. On the outside of this octagon, you'll see words, and it starts at the top with outgoing. It goes to friendly, supportive, detailed, consistent, precise, and skeptical, productive. We are seeing that people gravitate towards different tendencies already just by looking at those words. Think about yourself. What grabs you in terms of those words and makes you feel comfortable and whole and makes you resonate word-wise with those meanings. And then inside where it says active, accepting, thoughtful, and questioning, let's break that down as well. So there are two parts to the model. Take a look at the top part. The letters D and I, those fall under active, people that are extroverted and active. And down below where it says C and S, those folks tend to be more thoughtful or introverted. They tend to think before they act. On the left, you've got DC people that are more questioning. On the right, you've got IS people that are more accepting. Now let's break down what those letters mean. A D person stands for dominant, and that's somebody that likes to get things done. That doesn't mean they're dominant over people. It means they're dominant over the task. They're direct and confident, and they're focused on what needs to be done. Now, if they started something like a task, they'd be joined by an I influential person. I stands for influential. It also stands for persuasive and friendly, and that individual is focused on who should I help. So if a D starts a task, they're joined by an I who's going to help out. And down below on the right-hand side for S, that stands for steady, and also calm and consistent. And that person's key word is how. How should I approach this? That person is very focused on details, and they don't like to take a leap forward until they have information. And then in the lower left, finally, we have a C that stands for conscientious. And the key words for a C are precise and detailed. And their word is why. Why should we be doing this? They're natural refiners. They wear the hat of a refiner. How can I make this better is always on their mind. So a D willing to start a task, an I willing to jump in to help, and us getting involved when enough information is available, and a C saying, this doesn't seem quite right. Let's make this better and refine this. Wonderful teamwork. The problem is that we don't often get dealt different varieties of people in equal numbers. So very often on a team, you'll have a large number of a given style, which makes for blind spots and preferences that are somewhat skewed as we think about creating a project task line like I've just described. So we might have many D's and we get a jump start on a project, but we don't have any follow through. Or we might have many I's and we get a lot of people involved, but we lose sight of the task. Or we might have many S's, but we have a hiccup or a tendency to wait until we get enough information or delay until we get started. We might have many C's, and those people are natural refiners and they don't have anything to refine yet. So again, there's a natural delay. nothing's quite right. So all of these styles contribute to what you and I would think of as very effective teamwork on a project. And that doesn't mean you have to hire the style. It just means you need to be aware of what each style can deliver and be aware of where the deficits and the challenges are on a given team and where the strengths are so that you can begin to kind of flex your style a little bit and make sure that those blind spots are really managed well.
This is really great. Thank you for the high level overview, and stay tuned for us to talk about how the DISC is going to be used in a number of different contexts for managers. See you soon.